Welcome to our video countdown of the top 10 most hated video games ever. From technical disasters to shattered expectations, these games have left a lasting impact on players for all the wrong reasons. Brace yourself as we dive into the depths of gaming infamy, exploring titles that have faced intense backlash, widespread criticism, and an enduring reputation for being some of the most despised games in history. Get ready to relive the frustrations, disappointments, and controversies that have earned these games a spot on our list. This is a countdown you won't want to miss. Number 10. Cyberpunk 2077 has faced significant backlash and garnered widespread criticism due to several key factors. First and foremost, the game's highly anticipated release was plagued by numerous technical issues, especially on last-gen consoles, leading to a subpar and often unplayable experience for many players. The game's performance problems, including frequent crashes, visual glitches, and poor optimization, significantly hindered immersion and enjoyment. Additionally, promised features and mechanics were either missing or not fully realized, causing players to feel misled by the developer's pre-release marketing campaign. Number 9. Call of Duty. 4. Modern Warfare is actually highly regarded and considered one of the most influential and beloved entries in the Call of Duty franchise. It is often praised for its groundbreaking multiplayer, immersive campaign, and cinematic storytelling. However, if there are individuals who dislike the game, it could be due to personal preferences or specific reasons that vary from person to person. It's important to note that no game can universally please everyone, and individual opinions on games can differ greatly. Number 8. The reasons for the widespread criticism and negative reception of Battlefield 2042 vary among players. Some common points of contention include technical issues and bugs present at launch, which hindered the overall gameplay experience. The game was released with various performance problems, including frequent crashes, server instability, and hit registration issues, leading to frustration among players. Additionally, the absence of a single-player campaign, which had been a staple of previous Battlefield titles, disappointed fans who enjoyed the immersive narratives of the series. The game's focus on large-scale multiplayer battles and the introduction of new gameplay mechanics also received mixed reactions, with some players feeling that the changes disrupted the core Battlefield experience they were accustomed to. Overall, the negative feedback for Battlefield 2042 has primarily revolved around technical problems, missing features, and a departure from the established formula that fans expected and desired. Number 7. Halo 5. Guardians received significant hate primarily due to its divisive storyline, lack of iconic characters, and departure from the beloved formula that made the franchise successful. Fans were disappointed with the portrayal of Master Chief, the campaign's plot, and the lack of character development. The multiplayer changes, absence of split screen, and controversial monetization practices further fueled the negative reception. These factors collectively contributed to a sense of betrayal and frustration among fans, resulting in widespread dislike for Halo 5. Number 6. Mighty Numb 9 received a significant amount of criticism and backlash from players for multiple reasons. One of the main issues was the game's troubled development, which included numerous delays and a lack of transparency from the development team. Backers who supported the game through crowdfunding platforms felt betrayed and disappointed by the prolonged development cycle and perceived mismanagement of resources. Furthermore, the game was criticized for its technical problems and lackluster execution. Many players found the gameplay to be uninspired and lacking the polish and precision expected from a spiritual successor to the Mega Man series. The level design, controls, and overall game mechanics received negative feedback, with some players considering them to be outdated and poorly implemented. Additionally, the game's visuals and art style were criticized for their generic and unappealing aesthetics, which fell short of the expectations set during the game's crowdfunding campaign. The voice acting and dialogue also faced scrutiny, as they were perceived as subpar and lacking in quality. Overall, the combination of development issues, technical problems, underwhelming gameplay, and unimpressive presentation led to a significant portion of players expressing their disappointment and dislike for Mighty Numb 9. Number 5. Sonic the Hedgehog 2006 is widely hated by many people due to its numerous technical issues, including glitches, poor controls, and frame rate drops, which severely hindered the gameplay experience. The convoluted and poorly executed storyline, along with awkward character portrayals and dialogue, contributed to the negative reception. The game's level design received criticism for its inconsistent pacing, oscillating between fast-paced platforming and slower, clunky sections. Sonic 2006 was also seen as a departure from the beloved qualities of the franchise, failing to capture the essence of what made previous Sonic games successful. The combination of these factors led to significant disappointment, frustration, and the widespread dislike for Sonic 2006. Number 4, Fallout 76 has faced significant backlash and widespread hatred from players for various reasons. Primarily, the game's release was plagued with numerous technical issues and a lack of polish. Glitches, bugs, and frequent crashes hindered gameplay, frustrating players and undermining their immersion in the post-apocalyptic world. The departure from the beloved single-player, story-driven experience of previous Fallout games also contributed to the game's negative reception. The introduction of online multiplayer, coupled with the absence of human NPCs, resulted in a sense of emptiness and diminished player engagement. The quests and activities offered in Fallout 76 were often criticized for being repetitive and lacking depth, failing to provide the compelling narratives and memorable characters that fans expected. The inclusion of microtransactions and the Atomic Shop raised concerns about the game's focus on monetization over player satisfaction. Furthermore, a perceived lack of transparency and communication from the developers regarding updates and improvements further eroded trust and fueled disappointment. The ongoing presence of exploitable glitches and the slow response to bug fixes and quality-of-life updates further soured the player experience. These combined factors contributed to the intense hatred towards Fallout 76. Number 3, Dead Rising, despite having its dedicated fan base, has garnered a significant amount of criticism and generated a sense of dislike among many players. One primary reason for this is the game's time-based gameplay mechanics, which proved to be a divisive aspect. Dead Rising implemented a strict time limit, requiring players to prioritize missions and events within specific timeframes. While this mechanic aimed to add urgency and tension, it also caused frustration and limited freedom for those who preferred a more open-ended experience. The pressure to meet time constraints often led to players missing out on content or feeling forced to rush through the game, detracting from the exploration and immersion. Another aspect that received negative feedback was the game's save system. Dead Rising originally had only one save slot, meaning players had to commit to their progress and risk losing hours of gameplay if they made a mistake or wanted to explore alternative paths. This lack of flexibility in saving frustrated players who desired the ability to experiment or revert to earlier points in the game. Additionally, the game's controls and combat mechanics faced criticism. Some players found the controls to be clunky and imprecise, impacting the overall gameplay experience. The combat system, while offering a wide variety of unique weapons and tools, was seen as lacking depth and finesse compared to other action games, leading to repetitive and unsatisfying combat encounters. Furthermore, the AI and survivor mechanics drew significant backlash. AI-controlled survivors often exhibited erratic behavior, requiring constant supervision and frequently making illogical decisions. This unreliable AI undermined the immersion and hindered players' ability to rescue survivors, which was a core aspect of the game's design. Overall, the combination of the time-based gameplay mechanics, limited save system, subpar controls, and frustrating AI and survivor mechanics contributed to the negative reception of Dead Rising among a significant portion of players. While some appreciate the game's unique premise and zombie-slaying action, these flaws left a lasting impact on the overall perception and reception of the game. Number 2, Metroid Prime. Federation Force is widely hated among people primarily because it deviated from the beloved Metroid formula, focusing on cooperative multiplayer gameplay instead of a solo adventure with Samus Aran. The game's chibi-like art style, repetitive gameplay, and perceived lack of depth also contributed to the intense backlash. Number 1, Star Wars Battlefront. 2 faced significant backlash and widespread criticism from gamers for several reasons. One major factor was the game's controversial implementation of loot boxes and microtransactions. The progression system initially relied heavily on randomized loot boxes, creating a pay-to-win environment where players could gain unfair advantages by purchasing in-game items with real money. This sparked outrage among gamers as it was seen as exploitative and unfair. Furthermore, the game's launch was marred by technical issues, including server problems and frequent crashes, which hindered the overall gameplay experience. These problems left players frustrated and disappointed, especially considering the high expectations associated with the Star Wars brand. Additionally, some players were dissatisfied with the game's lackluster single-player campaign, which was seen as short and lacking depth. The narrative and character development in the campaign were also criticized for not meeting expectations and failing to provide a compelling experience. Another point of contention was the lack of meaningful content and updates after the game's release. Many players felt that the post-launch support was insufficient, with limited new maps, modes, and characters being added over time. This led to a sense of stagnation and a lack of long-term motivation for players to continue engaging with the game. Overall, the combination of the loot box controversy, technical issues, underwhelming single-player campaign, and perceived lack of meaningful updates contributed to the intense hatred towards Star Wars Battlefront 2 among gamers. And there you have it, our list of the top 10 most hated video games ever. From broken promises to technical nightmares, these games have etched themselves into gaming history for all the wrong reasons. Whether it's the disappointment of unfulfilled potential or the frustration of glaring flaws, these titles have left a lasting impact on players worldwide. But remember, even the most hated games can serve as a reminder of the importance of quality, innovation, and player satisfaction. We hope you enjoyed this journey through the dark side of gaming, and we'll see you next time with more intriguing video game content. Thanks for watching.